Hi, welcome back to Golden Final Spin. Guys, I've been wanting to do this for a while, an information video. Now, a lot of people come up to me and they tell me about their turntable. They're just getting into it. And sometimes they're regretting what they bought. Sometimes they haven't even bought one yet. And they start asking me questions, what I think about all these fancy turntables out there. So in this video, I'm going to try to break down things for a beginner's level of things to look for in turntables. So let's get to it. Number one, when you're buying a turntable for a beginner, price. Price is very important. Now you can go out and buy a vintage turntable, but if you're going to buy something on the market, I recommend buying in the price range between $300 to $500. This is the prime price range when looking for the first time turntable. These turntables often allow some upgradability, like your cartridge, your belt, your stylus, sometimes even upgradable counterweight. Number two, manual versus automatic. Manual basically means everything's manual. You pick up the tone arm, you put it down on the record, and at the end of the record, once it's done playing, you put it back. The benefits of a manual turntable is there's less chances of noise being picked up from moving parts, and also in the future, less maintenance. There's less maintenance, meaning if something breaks, you don't have to worry about fixing that. It's strictly manual. Automatic, if you just like to push a button and your record plays, then maybe that's the turntable for you. Number three, does it have a built-in preamp? Or do you need one? Most new models on the market have a built-in preamp that have the option to be able to turn it off or turn it on. And hooking up your own preamp, whether it's a tube amp or a regular amp, most basic preamps on the market range between $50 to $130. Why do you need a preamp? Well, to put it simple, receivers from the past had phono inputs on the back of them. And once records started to die out around the mid-80s or so, there wasn't a real need for the phono settings anymore. But if you have a vintage receiver, you don't have to worry about it because most likely it has a built-in preamp into the old receivers. Now that records and turntables are selling at record high numbers and they are continuing to grow, I believe you may see manufacturers starting to put phono preamps back into systems, but time will tell. Number four. This one here is a little tricky because there are so many different brands of turntables out there right now, and the question is it belt driven or direct drive? Belt driven turntables are essentially the audiophile preferred turntables. It's been told that belt driven turntables sound better because they have less noise transfer from the motor. The cons, replacement of belts over time. Now with direct drive, more torque and consistent speed. You can change the speed. DJs prefer direct drive because of the flexibility to change speeds, and they're able to use their hands without worrying about stretching or breaking and replacing a belt. The cons, however, the motor generates it could generate unwanted vibrations that may be picked up in the sound. So with the direct drive, the platter sits on top of the motor. You can remove the platter. It's not completely connected. It's like gears or whatever. But that motor is completely turning that platter versus having the motor off to the side with a belt going around the platter. The belt also acts as an insulator as well because it's made of rubber, and that helps absorb some of the vibrations from the motor. As far as direct drives, one of the most expensive turntables that amateur and more experienced people seek out is the old auto technique, which is the 1200 model, and that can range up to $600 to $700 for the original one. They just came out with a brand new one, and I believe it's in the thousands of dollars, and that is direct drive. Number 5, does your turntable that you're looking at have an anti-skate? Now what an anti-skate is, this is the force that the stylus is putting on the grooves of your record through friction. Have your anti-skate set too high or too low can affect the sound of the music and over time possibly damage your records. This is a subject altogether by itself that would take a long time to cover, so I'm not going to go into great detail on that. Number 6. Adjustable counterweight or tracking force. This is very important. Why? Because it controls the amount of weight that's forced down onto your record. Over time, people have claimed that it has damaged their records. If too much weight was forcing the stylus into the grooves of the record, I, for one, believe that. And another thing that can wear out your stylus very fast. On the side note, if you don't have enough weight on your stylus, then if you're walking across the floor, for say, or you bump it, it could possibly jump out of the grooves and scratch your records. A typical stylus with a great setup and everything's perfect, you should be able to get up to 500 to 1,000 hours of playtime. So the last thing to remember would be, and it's not necessarily important unless you're changing your slip mats on your turntables, okay? And that is, are you able to change the height of your tone arm? This is very important because if you change out your mats, you want to still have your tone arm level when it's playing on the record. The stylus is sitting perfectly in the grooves. These are some of the things that I look for in a turntable. The more features, the better. So I hope that some of this stuff helps those new people just getting into records. I've had so many questions on what to look for in a record player, and the question of whether I support Crosley and those fancy turntables, and I really don't want to get into that because I have no experience with Crosley and I would never own one because they don't have those features that I want. They look great. Do they work? Some claim they don't. Some claim that they damage records. I, for one, will not bash anyone that buys them, and that's my personal belief. I will never bash anyone that buys a record player that is just getting into it. Take some of these things that I've mentioned today in this video and take them into consideration when you're picking out a turntable, and just enjoy your music. There's a lot of turntables coming out on the market now that have lots of features. Everywhere you go, they're starting to pop out because the market is getting broader. Records are growing everywhere, press implants are coming up, and there's a supply and demand for turntables. So no, I'm not going to bash Crosley or any other turntable in this video. Hopefully that will help you pick out a great turntable and you will enjoy playing your records. So until next time, everyone, thank you for watching Golden Final Spin. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and to keep spinning. Yeah.